Welcome back to Cookie's Fishroom. For those who don't know me, my name is Norm and it's great to see you all. We've been through a lot here down in Melbourne, Australia. We're currently the city with the longest lockdown period. Let's see what else. We've been hit by earthquakes. And yeah, we're still in lockdown at the moment, but we're all doing our very best to get to the point where we can expect some more freedom. So we're all looking forward to that, and hopefully everybody out there is healthy and happy and staying away from that awful disease. Now, I want to say a huge thank you to all my subscribers. We hit 1.5k and that's huge. And if you haven't subbed yet, please, it would mean a lot to me. It would make a man like me really happy. If you want to make me happy, please sub to the YouTube channel. Takes 2 seconds to hit subscribe and notifications. Switch that bell on so every time we release a new video, you're aware of it. Now, I just want to say a special thank you to the following people. I've got my iPad here. Davey Sang, Chantar Whitlow, Joe Acosta, John Korzinski. I am sorry if I slayed your name. I'm not good with names. Fiona Horn, Leah Collins, and a very special shout out to Kirsten Ahmed. So thank you guys. I did promise a shout out to those who got us to 1.5k and I intend on living up to that. So thank you very much for subscribing to the channel. It means a lot to me to see how many people watch these videos and get help out of them. More importantly, not just watch it. It's not a popularity contest, but it does help to get the word out there for proper treatments of all these sick fish we have, all the problems that we have, and minimize misinformation that there's so much of it out there. The clowns are saying to use so much salt in, freshwater tanks to cure coronavirus. There's others saying GH levels aren't important when it comes to live berries, in particular guppies. So we need to make sure all this misinformation that can kill our fish is down to a bare minimum. So let's get started on today's topic. I did say we are discussing how to move homes and the best way of doing it for fish. So it all comes down to how much fish we got, how many, size of the fish, how far we're going, etc. So I'm going to pretend what I have here is on a larger scale. So you can get buckets like these. This one's currently got some water in it from water change. So these come with lids. You can get big ones. And what I normally do is a big version of this. So say this is that bucket. Say it's got a lid, as I said. I drill a hole in that lid. Let me just get everything out of this. I drill a hole in that lid and one end attaches to this. This is an air pump, but it runs on batteries, so we can easily take this anywhere we go. So everyone should have one of these in their homes, at least one, just in case the power ever goes out. You can use this to supply air and get that water moving to your fish. So obviously this connects to this in this end, and some people have an air stone, but I have what I recommended in one of my quarantine videos, this mini air stone filter. It doesn't filter heaps, but you got to remember this is only a short-term thing. It does provide the right amount of bubbles that's required and filtration also if needed. Now, I always, aside from that, carry a spare heater just in case it becomes a bit long-term. So when you get to the home, you can sit everything down, use water from your tank to put the fish into that bucket. So they're still they're not going to get shocked by the parameters. So what you do, you can seal your lid. If there's a heater in it, if this is going to be long-term, switch the heater on, plug it in, sit your bucket down, and you've got nothing to worry about. You can go unpack your house, get things all sorted, get the kids sorted if you have any, go back and forth if you have to, and not stress about what's going on with your fish at the moment. People suggest bags, you know, that you buy your fish in, or just plain buckets. But you got to remember, it's traumatizing for these fish, you know, all this extra stress, even if they're not getting the right amount of air or the right amount of, you know, the parameters are different. If you're putting fresh water in compared to what they've just come out of, there's a good chance of, you know, parameter shock, temperature shock. So you want to minimize all these stress levels, because stress always leads to disease, or if the fish is pregnant, it will, you know, they can miscarry. So the best thing to do, grab their own water, put them into a big bucket, depending on the size of the fish, little container if guppies, and you can just plug that in, leave it aside, do what you need to do. If you have your new, if you intend on taking the fish out, moving the tank over, setting it up again, you will need to have them with a heater for the temperature for a longer period of time. I don't recommend, you know, leaving them in the bucket. Temperature will cool down. If that does happen, you have to acclimate them into the water they're going into, because the temperature will be different from where they're coming from to where they're going to. Once again, we want to minimize shock. Shock can kill any fish, and the amount of times I've seen people just float a bag in the tank as their acclimation, no, it's not enough. Check out our video on drip acclimation. Do it properly. Do it over a couple of hours at least. I usually do 3. The fish can get adjusted, not just the temperature, but they have to look at other parameters like KH, GH, pH. You know, everything is not always exactly the same. If you're setting up the tank again, you're bound to be moving, you know, dead spots around like poop, possibly dead fish, leftover foods. That will stir up nitrates, ammonia. Again, drip acclimate is the way to go. In a bag is not going to get those parameters, the fish use those parameters. So it is a simple setup. I'll give you one more look. You can use a bucket, container, whatever you have on hand. I use these containers only simply because my fish, the fish I look after are basically endless guppies. I do have a few platies and mollies. I don't transport mine around very often, and this here is when I buy fish, I go pick up the kids from school. Sometimes they sit in the car with me, so I do make sure they come in a container where they feel, you know, comfortable in. My LFS is very happy to put the fish in here for me, supply me with a bit of water until I get home, and I can acclimate them to the, you know, the hospital tank that they're going into, for quarantine purposes, of course. So I've just grabbed a simple decor Tupperware, and if you have a close look, there's 3 holes drilled in there, just to get some fresh air in there. Nothing splashes around while driving. It's completely sealed. Same as the buckets. You can get old yogurt buckets, you know, fishing buckets. Fishing buckets are the best because they do have a lid that seals properly. You can drill holes into it, water won't get out of there, stick the airline tubing in it. It literally takes 5 minutes of your time. So, once again, big thank you to everybody who's got us to 1,500 subscribers. Let's see if we can make it 3,000. That would be awesome if we could. What we're doing is something awesome, you know, minimizing misinformation, getting the right information out there. Doesn't matter what you read on Google, what other people say on YouTube. We know what's right. We're doing a great job of it at the moment. The group is flourishing. I love the members we have, and thanks guys for everybody who participates and make our group, Cookies Fishroom, the best one on Facebook. Thanks again, guys. And those who haven't subscribed yet, please do so. It makes me happy. And if you want to make me happy, please subscribe. And if you don't, well, tell me why. Though, you know, harassment messages, YouTube doesn't look really kindly to those. So yeah, take care of yourselves wherever you are. Stay safe, and bye for now.